Okay, so let's unpack this. Imagine for a moment waking up and the first thing you see, a dead body. There's a gun in your hand, and you have absolutely no idea who you are or what just happened. I mean, talk about a nightmare start to your week, right? Just amplified like 1,000 times over. That gut-wrenching, completely disorienting scenario, that's precisely where our deep dive plunges in today. We're really getting into the layers of identity, memory, and, the relentless chase for truth. We're following the journey of Detective Jack Harris. He's plunged into this labyrinth of amnesia, betrayal, and a really deep-seated conspiracy. His whole identity is just stripped away, and then he finds himself tangled up in this huge web. So we're not just looking at a thrilling crime drama series here. It's more of an intense exploration, really, of what defines us when everything we thought we knew is just gone, erased. And the dangerous, often very personal pursuit of finding out the truth.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating, I think, is how these narrative fragments are drawn from this pretty captivating crime drama series. They let us piece together this really complex human story. It's almost like we're detectives ourselves, you know, sifting through the evidence, trying to reconstruct a life. Our mission for this deep dive is basically to pull out those critical story threads, the surprising twists, and, importantly, the profound insights the show offers into memory, identity, and the shadowy forces that can meticulously shape a person's life, often totally without their knowledge or consent. It really brings up a key question. How much of our identity is actually tied to our memories? And what happens when those memories aren't just missing, but maybe deliberately manipulated or even erased? This series, through Jack's, frankly, harrowing journey, it powerfully argues that, well, memories are foundational, sure, but our identity also seems to reside in our kind of inherent will to find the truth, our capacity for self-determination, even when those memories were stripped away. We'll be exploring how Jack rebuilds his identity, piece by piece, even while he's constantly being challenged by the very people trying to erase it.
Absolutely. And the resonance here, it goes way beyond Jack's fictional world, doesn't it? These themes are universal. The inherent fragility of memory, that desperate, almost primal search for truth, and what fundamentally defines us when everything we thought we knew is just torn away, it resonates, I think, deeply with all of us. So this deep dive, it offers a really thrilling lens to examine these profound questions. It might even make you wonder, what forgotten truths might be lying dormant in your own past, or how would you rebuild your sense of self if everything you remembered turned out to be a lie? So yeah, settle in. This is going to be an intense exploration.
The Initial Amnesia and the Looming Conspiracy, episodes 1 to 3.
Okay, so the story kicks off immediately. Episode 1, perfectly titled, Who Am I? We're thrown right into this abandoned warehouse. You can almost smell the dust, the metallic scent of blood. Our protagonist, Jack Harris, he stirs, groans, his mind, a complete blank. He's on the ground, totally disoriented. There's blood pooling around him. And next to him, a dead body. And in his hand, clutched tight, is a gun. The sheer shock of this moment is palpable. Not just for Jack, but for us too, right? We share his confusion. He sort of scrambles to his feet, just this guttural, what happened? Comes out, he looks at the body, then the gun. Stunned. Oh, God. The horror is just dawning on him. Then his hand brushes against a wallet. He fumbles it open. The ID reads, Detective Jack Harris. The confusion is immense. He whispers, Detective Harris, who am I? Just imagine that profound loss of self, a complete blank slate, except for the shocking, incriminating evidence right there.
Right. And the sudden onset of amnesia, especially under circumstances like these, it doesn't just create confusion. It triggers this profound state of, cognitive dissonance for Jack. His internal reality, which is basically a void, is completely at odds with the external evidence. What makes this opening so jarring, I think, is how the series immediately puts the audience right into Jack's disoriented shoes. We're not just watching someone with amnesia, we're kind of experiencing it with him. And the show masterfully uses this unreliable narrator, the protagonist himself, to challenge our assumptions from the very first frame. It cleverly subverts the typical whodunit by making the hero the prime suspect in his own amnesiac story. It's a brilliant way to establish immediate visceral empathy and also, crucially, a deep sense of distrust in what we're even seeing.
Absolutely. And the tension just ramps up from there. He stumbles out of the warehouse, finds this beat-up old payphone, and dials 911. His voice is just raw with desperation. He admits, I need help. I think I killed someone, but I don't know where I am. When the operator asks for his location, he looks around, totally lost. This desolate industrial landscape gives him no clues. I don't know, he stammers. The truth of his disorientation is just chillingly clear. Even his own name, Jack Harris. He can only say it after glancing at the ID again. His voice cracks, recognizing a stranger's name. Then you hear the police sirens wailing in the distance, getting louder. He sees the flashing lights. An officer with a gun drawn hears the stern command, "Jack Harris, you're under arrest." And as he's being cuffed, the chaos kind of fades for a second. His eyes lock onto this lone figure watching from across the street. A chilling flicker of recognition crosses his face, even through the fog of amnesia, just as the figure disappears into the night. "Wait, I know him," he mumbles. Then this shocking, fragmented realization hits him, my partner. That fundamental question of self-trust and who you can possibly rely on, it's absolutely pivotal as we head into episode 2, The Partner.
Precisely. And what's immediately clear in The Partner is that the trust Jack desperately needs. It's exactly what's being weaponized against him. We find Jack cuffed in an interrogation room with this Detective Jenkins. Jenkins' demeanor is cool, collected, but it's laced with this unsettling skepticism. He seems to relish holding all the cards. His questions are probing, his eyes just dissecting Jack's every confused reaction. He presents the evidence, Jack's gun, his fingerprints, and even chillingly, your partner's testimony about an argument Jack supposedly had with the victim. Just as Jenkins is clearly trying to push Jack towards confession, Jack's partner, Alex, bursts in, out of breath, demanding, "Stop the interrogation, now." Alex confirms Jack's amnesia. And surprisingly, Jenkins just accepts it with this non-committal shrug, uncuffed Jack. Alex then pulls Jack into an empty hallway, his voice low, urgent, and reveals this shocking truth. "The man you killed, he was our informant."
Wow, that specific detail, whispered in secret by his partner, it completely changes the game, doesn't it? It suggests this much larger, more dangerous world operating beyond Jack's immediate amnesia, hints at corruption within the very system he belongs to. That immediately introduces a new layer of intrigue. Jenkins' initial skepticism, despite the overwhelming evidence, and his implied knowledge about Jack's argument with the victim, that's telling. But then Alex, his partner, steps in, confirms the amnesia, shuts down the interrogation. What does that immediate action by Alex suggest to you about his role and maybe the conspiracy at this early stage?
Well, it immediately suggests layers of intrigue, doesn't it? It hints at a systemic issue, something bigger than just a single crime. Alex's actions are, well, they're a fascinating study in moral ambiguity. He's protecting Jack, yes. But in doing that, he's also implicitly acknowledging there's a deeper conspiracy going on. The urgency, the way he reveals the victim was an informant, that speaks volumes. It means it's not just a murder. It's a breach of some intricate criminal web, making it incredibly dangerous. So Alex's role is complex. He's presented as a potential ally, sure, but he's also clearly a keeper of secrets Jack desperately needs to uncover. This revelation dramatically ups the stakes. It shifts the narrative from a simple murder investigation to something far more politically charged and perilous.
Right. Alex's urgent intervention and that whispered, shocking truth. The man you killed, he was our informant. It propels us directly into episode 3, The Informant. Alex, now in his car with a totally bewildered Jack, nervously explains the grim reality. The informant, Ryan, he was dangerously close to uncovering this huge, entrenched conspiracy led by a corrupt, very influential businessman named Richard Langley. Ryan had been digging into Langley for bribing high-ranking cops and potentially even orchestrating the killings of witnesses who got too close. Apparently, Ryan had warned them, with this sense of impending doom, that something big was going down tonight at the old warehouse on 5th, which is, of course, the exact warehouse where Jack woke up next to Ryan's body.
So now we start connecting the dots, and it's profoundly unsettling. Ryan's death isn't just some random act of violence. It's intricately linked to this powerful, corrupt figure, someone who manipulates the very fabric of justice. Langley isn't just a shady businessman. He's someone who, according to Ryan's investigation, is deeply embedded in a criminal network, able to subvert law enforcement from within. The timing of Ryan's death at the precise location of the something big he was investigating, that cannot possibly be a coincidence, right? This narrative is cleverly weaving together Jack's deeply personal identity crisis with this much broader, more dangerous criminal enterprise. It strongly suggests that his amnesia might not be an accident at all, but maybe a deliberate act.
It certainly feels that way, laying the groundwork for a much larger game. They get back to Alex's apartment, which looks like a makeshift evidence room full of files, photos of Ryan, details of Langley's suspected activities. Just as Jack is trying to process all this overwhelming information, Alex's phone rings. It's Jenkins. Jenkins tells Alex that, surprisingly, Langley himself is requesting a meeting with Jack, specifically to discuss Jack's past. So, okay, what's the broader implication here? Jack is a detective who might be unknowingly involved in a conspiracy run by a corrupt businessman, and he doesn't even know his own history. And this guy, Langley, the one at the center of the corruption, the architect of this whole dark empire, he wants to talk about Jack's past. It feels like a calculated, really unsettling move by Langley. Putting Jack directly into the lion's den, knowing Jack has no memory of the beast, it's like an invitation laced with poison.
The Truth of Identity and a Father's Legacy, episodes 4 to 6.
That chilling invitation leads us straight into episode 4, the meeting. Jack finally comes face to face with Richard Langley in this lavish, imposing office. Langley, he has this disarming yet undeniably manipulative air about him. He greets Jack and immediately gets to the point. He wants to talk about Jack's past, specifically before he became a detective. He leans back in this plush leather chair, a slight, almost patronizing smirk on his face, and drops a bombshell that just cuts right through Jack's amnesia. You don't remember anything before age 25, do you? Jack is visibly stunned, completely blindsided by Langley's precise, intimate knowledge of his memory gap. Langley then reveals another startling piece of info. He knew Jack's father, who worked for me until he disappeared.
Okay, this is a crucial turning point, isn't it? It links Jack's deeply personal quest for identity directly to the larger, more dangerous conspiracy. Langley is using classic psychological manipulation here, but with a particularly sinister edge. He's not revealing the whole truth, obviously. He's selectively drip-feeding this new, poisoned reality. By bringing up Jack's father, he taps into a primal emotional need, right? He's crafting this false narrative of shared history, shared dependency, forcing Jack into this mental trap, where Langley positions himself as the only key to Jack's lost past. Which raises that important question. Why would Langley reveal pieces of Jack's past, especially about his father, if he's the orchestrator of the whole conspiracy and Jack is basically his unwitting pawn? He's not just telling a story, he's actively crafting a new reality for Jack, making him question everything he thought or didn't think he knew, establishing his power over Jack's very sense of self.
And Jack, well, understandably, he becomes enraged. His voice is tight with this barely contained fury. He accuses Langley, "What did you do to him?" Langley, ever the master manipulator, kind of backs away slightly, feigning hurt, denies direct involvement in his father's death, but subtly links the disappearance to Jack's amnesia and Ryan's murder. It's all connected, he claims, painting this picture of an intricate web that only he understands. He then nervously asks Jack to meet him alone that night, under the cover of darkness, at the very warehouse, the place where Ryan died, where Jack woke up. Jack, despite his deep-seated caution, he's desperate for answers about his father. The lure of his past is just too strong, he agrees, but immediately exits the office and calls Alex. Whispering into the phone, he warns, "Langley knows something. Meet me at the warehouse tonight. But whatever you do, don't come in." It's a clear move, right? Calculated risk, but also necessary precaution. The tension just builds to this fever pitch in episode 5, the truth. Jack arrives at the desolate warehouse, gun drawn, followed shortly by Langley. The air is thick with anticipation. Langley takes this deep, almost theatrical breath and confesses. Jack's father discovered his vast, intricate conspiracy. He had to silence him. Jack, his face just a mask of cold fury, demands if Langley killed him. But Langley's response is chillingly worse than just admitting murder. "No! Worse! I erased his existence and created a new one for you." The profound shock of this revelation just hits Jack like a physical blow. Langley, with this triumphant, perverse smirk, declares, "You're not Jack Harris, you're Jason Lee, my son."
Wow, okay, this is the absolute core aha moment, the seismic shift in Jack's understanding of himself. It's an utter demolition of his entire perceived reality, discovering that your whole adult life is just a meticulously constructed fabrication by the very man you suspect is your enemy. That's an utterly profound trauma. The series isn't just playing with amnesia here, it's tackling the very nature of identity fabrication, exploring the psychological violence of not just losing your memory, but discovering your entire adult existence was engineered by the man who orchestrated your father's demise. Jack's true name, Jason Lee, is seemingly confirmed by that JL tattoo on his hand, a physical manifestation of his lost identity, a scar, a brand of his true stolen self that now, ironically, becomes a symbol of his reclamation. It shifts Jack's entire moral compass, doesn't it? From simply solving a murder to dismantling a legacy of lies that is his own life. This is where the show really elevates itself beyond a standard procedural, I think, into a profound character study of self-determination.
Can you even imagine? Your whole life, a carefully constructed lie. Everything you thought you were, meticulously built by the very man you're trying to take down. It's an absolute identity reset. But this time, it's forced upon him, this cruel twist of fate. Langley even admits it, proudly with this chilling lack of remorse, that he specifically made Jack a detective to control the investigation and kill Ryan when he got close. He genuinely saw Jack as nothing more than a puppet, a tool, Just as Jack is reeling from this devastating truth, Alex bursts in, gun drawn, declaring, "Richard Langley, you're under arrest." Langley, still smirking, tries one last manipulation, taunting Jack. "Jason, stop him." But Jack, after this moment of intense internal conflict, you can see the struggle. Between the fabricated past and his own nascent sense of justice, he raises his gun at Langley. "My name is Jack Harris, and you're going down," he declares firmly. Rejecting the fabricated past, embracing the identity he's been living, but now with a new, profound purpose for justice. It forces us to ask, right, what truly constitutes a self when every memory is a potential fabrication? Is it our past or the choices we make when we face it? Okay, so following that explosion, episode 6, The Aftermath, deals with the immediate raw fallout. Langley is now cuffed in an interrogation room, still rocking that arrogant smirk. Jack and Alex watch through the one-way mirror. Langley, with this perverse pride, confesses to Jenkins that he created the fake detective to protect his vast empire and his son. But Jack, his anger still a raw wound, firmly denies being Langley's son, vehemently rejecting that poisoned legacy and the horrifying truth of his manipulated past. The emotional toll on Jack is immense. He's still reeling from the identity revelation, the trauma of his fabricated life.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, Langley's continued, almost defiant assertion that Jack is his son. It feels like a final desperate attempt to exert psychological control, doesn't it? To bind Jack to him, even after his arrest. It's a classic abuser's tactic, trying to normalize the unthinkable. But Jack's firm denial is crucial. That's him actively taking ownership of his identity, choosing who he wants to be, rather than accepting the one imposed upon him. The scene marks a profound shift in Jack's agency. The narrative then pivots, providing Jack with a new, tangible link to his true past. A genuine anchor to the life that was stolen.
Exactly. It's Jack reclaiming his narrative, and then Jenkins, maybe unexpectedly, approaches Jack and Alex. His expression is unreadable. He tells Jack about a file his true father left for him, specifically in his old apartment under his old name, Jason Lee. It's a seemingly helpful reveal from someone we're still really unsure about, adding another layer to the shifting allegiances. Jack and Alex immediately go to the apartment. It's a place Jack feels this faint, unfamiliar echo of. And there, on a dusty table, is a small, weathered box labeled Jason Lee. Inside, they find a file and, profoundly, a photo. Jack is a child with his father, a man he now recognizes as his true parent. It's an incredibly emotional moment for Jack, seeing his true father's face, that tangible connection to a lost past. But then he notices something on the back of the photo. A powerful, ominous message, scrawled in faded ink. It reads, "They're watching. Trust no one. Dad." Whoa, this isn't just about Langley anymore. This is a warning, echoing from beyond the grave, suggesting a deeper, more pervasive threat.
Absolutely. The discovery of his father's file, and particularly that cryptic, urgent message. It provides a direct, uncorrupted link to his true past and immediately ignites this new, even more dangerous quest. The warning, "They're watching. Trust no one." It isn't just a plot device. It's a chilling commentary on the pervasive nature of systemic corruption. It suggests the conspiracy is far from over, even with Langley apprehended. And it strongly foreshadows a mole within the system, within the very institutions meant to uphold justice. This compels critical thinking, right? Who can you truly trust when even the fabric of law enforcement might be compromised? It really sets the stage for the next phase of Jack's journey, shifting from discovering his own identity to uncovering deeper layers of betrayal from within.
The Mole Uncovered and a Dangerous Betrayal. Episodes 7 to 9.
Okay, that ominous warning from Jack's father, "Trust no one." It just catapults us into episode 7, The Warning. Jack and Alex now know they need to investigate a mole, quietly, surgically, within their own department. They begin this intense review of files, meticulously looking for any connections to Langley, any suspicious activity, any anomalies that point to internal corruption. One name keeps popping up, Officer James, who was notably one of the first responders to the warehouse where Ryan was killed. His actions, his past associations, they appear suspicious. And that's enough for Jack and Alex to decide to tail him, which is, a dangerous game of cat and mouse within their own ranks.
Yeah, the father's warning serves as this direct, almost prophetic clue guiding their investigation. It allows Jack and Alex to trace the process logically, looking for those weak points, those inconsistencies. Choosing Officer James as a suspicious figure is a brilliant narrative beat, a first responder having ties to the conspiracy. That points to the insidious reach of the corruption. It indicates the rot goes deeper than just a single businessman. And this kind of internal investigation is inherently fraught with peril. Trust is already a luxury Jack can barely afford.
So their surveillance leads them to this secluded, dimly lit, kind of shady bar on the outskirts of town. Jack and Alex enter separately, blend into the sparse crowd, sit at different tables, covertly observing James. James is meeting with this hooded fella tucked away in a dark corner booth. Jack, heart pounding, texts Alex, "I have eyes on James. Who's the other guy?" Alex texts back, no idea, but he looks familiar. The tension is almost unbearable as the hooded figure finally looks up, revealing a shocking familiar face. Jack's blood runs cold. He types this frantic message to Alex. Oh my God, it's Jenkins. Wow, the emotional blow of that realization must be immense. Jenkins, the guy who interrogated Jack, the one who seemed to offer a lifeline by revealing the file from Jack's dad. The mole was right there all along. It's a devastating twist. Because it doesn't just betray Jack, it betrays the audience's assumptions about who an ally should be in a police procedural.
That gut punch is exactly what the series is aiming for, isn't it? Because it doesn't just betray Jack, it betrays our assumptions too. Jenkins was initially presented as an antagonist, then sort of a neutral party, even seemingly helpful, making his reveal as the mole a far more insidious and personal betrayal than if it had been some stranger. It fundamentally undermines Jack's ability to trust any authority figure, even within his own department. It creates this deep psychological fracturing of the system itself for Jack. This reveal dramatically reshapes our understanding of every single interaction Jack had with Jenkins before, painting all his previous help as just calculated manipulation.
And what does this specific reveal, this person being the mole, do to the narrative tension? It takes it from this general sense of danger to a deeply personal, immediate threat. This shocking revelation leads directly into Episode 8, The Betrayal. Jack and Alex continue to observe Jenkins and Officer James. They're conversing intensely, voices low but audible enough in the quiet bar. Jack manages to get closer, overhears Jenkins expressing the seething anger about Langley's arrest, declaring, "Langley's arrest messed everything up, we need to fix this." Officer James nervously asks how, mentioning Jack Harris is still out there, a loose end. Jenkins, with a chilling cold smirk, replies, "Leave him to me, I'll handle Jack Harris."
What's fascinating here is the rapid escalation of tactics. Once exposed, or even just threatened with exposure, the conspirators move from manipulation and shadowy dealings to outright brutal violence. Jenkins's quick decision to handle Jack Harris demonstrates the ruthless nature of the conspiracy and the very personal stakes involved. It highlights the desperate measures those in power will take to protect their secrets, and how incredibly dangerous it is to challenge that power structure from within. It's a stark reminder that some secrets are literally worth killing for.
Jack's blood runs cold hearing Jenkins's words. He immediately texts Alex, fingers flying across the screen. "Jenkins is the mole. We need to leave. Now." They both exit the bar. Alex urgently tells Jack they need to go straight to internal affairs tonight with this damning new info. But as they turn to leave the darkened parking lot, a car speeds towards them out of nowhere. Headlights blinding, engine roaring. Jack, with this split-second pure survival instinct, shoves Alex out of the way, saving his partner. But he himself gets hit by the vehicle. It's a sudden, violent car impact. A deliberate and brutal attempt to silence Jack and eliminate the threat he poses to the conspiracy for good. The devastating aftermath of that hit and run brings us to Episode 9, The Accident. Alex is frantically rushing to Jack's side in the parking lot. Jack's unconscious, bleeding profusely onto the asphalt. Alex, panicked, immediately calls 911, his voice tight with terror. Jack is rushed to the hospital. Alex paces relentlessly in the waiting room, just agony and worry etched on his face. Finally, the doctor delivers the grim news. He's stable, but suffered a severe concussion and memory loss. Alex, already alarmed, asks, "Memory loss? Again?" The doctor confirms, noting Jack may not recall recent events, possibly extending further back.
Oh man, this is a devastating, almost cruel narrative twist. The profound irony of Jack suffering amnesia a second time, particularly right after uncovering the mole and facing that immediate danger, it's immense. It complicates his mission exponentially. It provides a fresh narrative challenge for both Jack and Alex, and for us, the audience, right? We just went through this whole journey of discovery with him. It's a powerful emphasis on the fragility and vulnerability of memory and identity. Just when Jack thought he was reclaiming his past, his purpose, it's ripped away again, possibly for good, leaving him adrift once more. This kind of narrative reset, while frustrating, brilliantly mirrors the psychological toll of continuous trauma.
And just when he's pieced together the most crucial detail, bam! His memory is cruelly wiped clean again. It's like the universe is conspiring to keep him from the truth. Or maybe the conspiracy itself is doing a very, very good job. Jack wakes up, groggy, confused in his hospital bed, asking, "What? What happened?" Alex's face just etched with relief and despair. He explains he was hit by a car outside the bar. But Jack's confusion persists. "Bar? Why were we at a bar?" Alex's face just falls as he realizes the depth of the memory loss, the monumental task now before him. "Jack, you don't remember?" he asks. Stunned, Jack shakes his head slowly. "Remember what?" Alex, aghast, almost whispers, "Jenkins, the mole. You don't remember any of it." Jack's bewildered response cuts right to the core. "Who's Jenkins?"
Yeah.
All that progress, all that painful truth just vanished into the fog of a second amnesia.
The Struggle for Memory and the Path to Recovery, episodes 10-13.
Jack's renewed amnesia throws him and Alex into this frustrating, heartbreaking reset in episode 10, The Reset. Alice tries desperately to explain everything to the bewildered Jack, who can't even remember his name change, his father, or the vast, dangerous conspiracy they were fighting. Alex is utterly frustrated. His attempts at explanation only seem to deepen Jack's confusion. "No, just tell me who I am," Jack pleads, his voice laced with the terror of profound self-loss. Alex tries to simplify, explaining Jack as a detective that they're investigating a conspiracy. But Jack's eyes just glaze over, unable to grasp the enormity of it all. "Wait, slow down. What conspiracy?" he asks, completely lost, staring at his friend with the eyes of a stranger.
Yeah, this scene profoundly highlights Alex's frustration and the immense difficulty of trying to re-explain an entire complex conspiracy to someone with a blank slate. It's not just recalling facts, it's re-establishing context, trust, purpose, all of which are based on a shared history that Jack just doesn't possess anymore. It's a testament to the devastating power of memory loss. However, amidst this profound difficulty, there is that small glimmer of hope. Alex, realizing the depth of the memory loss, tries a simpler, more personal approach. "Do you remember your father?" Jack thinks for a moment, his brow furrowed, says, "Father? No, but the name Jason sounds familiar." This partial recollection is incredibly significant, isn't it? It suggests that even with amnesia, some deep-seated connections, like a birth name, might resonate at a subconscious level, hinting at a core self that persists beyond explicit recall. It's a fascinating aspect of neurological resilience, a fragile thread connecting him to his true identity.
Alex's eyes widen with this flicker of excitement. "Jason, that's your birth name, before Langley changed it." But Jack, still confused by the name Langley, asks, "Langley? Who's that?" Alex realizes they have this monumental, maybe impossible task ahead of them. Just then a nurse enters, her voice gentle but firm, ending visiting hours, leaving Jack utterly alone in the sterile hospital room and deeply lost. "Wait, don't leave me," Jack whispers, his voice barely audible, before turning to himself, his face a mask of terror. "Who am I?" The isolation, coupled with his profound confusion, it's emotionally impactful, emphasizing how utterly foundational memory is to our sense of self, and how terrifying it is when that foundation just crumbles. Unfortunately, Jack doesn't get much rest or peace for long. In episode 11, The Visitor, Jack's lying awake in his hospital room, the fluorescent lights humming. When the door opens softly, it's Jenkins, smiling, feigning friendliness, but with this predatory glint in his eyes. "Jack Harris. Long time no see," he purrs. Jack's instincts scream danger. A primal alarm bell rings even through the fog of his memory loss. He cautiously asks, his voice weak, "Who are you?" Jenkins chuckles, a chilling sound, claiming they've worked together for years. Jack denies remembering anything, and Jenkins, feigning concern, says the accident must have been worse than they thought. "Oh, poor guy," his words just dripping with false sympathy.
Yeah, this scene perfectly highlights the direct and imminent threat Jenkins poses, especially to a vulnerable Jack. His visit isn't about gathering information or, simply gloating. It's about control and ultimately elimination. His feigned concern is just a thin veil for his cold-blooded intention to ensure Jack poses no further threat. The ultimatum he delivers, his voice dropping to this menacing whisper, "You see, Jack, you're getting too close to certain truths, so I'm going to give you a choice. Retire or die." It's a chilling declaration of war. He's not offering a real choice. He's asserting absolute power over Jack's life and perceived future, leveraging his amnesia as a weapon.
The absolute audacity. Not only has Jack lost his memory again, but now the mole he just discovered is in his hospital room, actively trying to finish him off. Jenkins then, with deliberate intent, injects something into Jack's the V line. Jack's eyes widen in terror. He weakly asks, "What did you—" Before Jenkins, with a final, satisfied smirk, exits, saying, "Sweet dreams, Jack," and everything just goes black. It's a terrifying scenario, completely vulnerable, isolated, and under attack from within the very system meant to protect him. The helplessness is palpable. The stakes for Jack couldn't possibly be higher. But despite this near-fatal attempt, Jack's primal survival instincts kick in during episode 12, The Escape. He wakes up, groggy, disoriented from the injection, but immediately notices his fee is gone. A nurse rushes in, relieved he's awake, saying his friend removed it. Jack, alarmed, his mind racing, asks, "Friend? What friend?" The nurse describes a tall, dark-haired, glasses man, the chilling description of Jenkins. Jack's fragmented mind puts the pieces together. Jenkins injected him. This was an assassination attempt. Despite his profound weakness, this fierce determination ignites within him. "I need to get out of here now," he mutters, knowing he's still in mortal danger. He grabs the nurse's spare keys, unlocks his room, and stumbles out into the chaotic hallway, alarms blaring as he bursts through the exit doors into the cool night air.
What's fascinating here is the sheer resilience of the human spirit, isn't it? That primal drive for survival kicks in, even when memory is fragmented and the body is weakened. It shows a deep-seated inner strength that transcends conscious recall. Jack's immediate, almost instinctual thought is, find Alex, only he can help. The payphone he desperately stumbles towards becomes the symbol of his desperate attempt to reconnect with his last trusted link to truth. It's a literal race against time, with Jack relying on instinct and this fragmented sense of who he trusts. A testament to the enduring power of human connection in the face of absolute vulnerability.
He reaches a grimy payphone, his hands fumbling, frantically dials Alex's number, but it goes straight to voicemail. Ugh. Just as panic is setting in, a car screeches around the corner, headlights illuminating the street. It's Alex. He jumps out, his face a mixture of terror and immense relief. "Jack, thank God I found you," Alex cries. Jack, collapsing into his partner's arms, weakly whispers, his voice barely a breath. "Alex Jenkins, he tried to kill me." Oh, Alex's timely arrival is this moment of intense relief, highlighting their crucial partnership and Alex's unwavering loyalty. It reinforces that powerful idea that sometimes we need others to help us remember who we are, what we're fighting for, and to literally save us from the abyss. This crucial life-saving partnership continues and brings us to episode 13, The Hideout. Alex speeds away from the hospital, Jack weak in the backseat, barely able to whisper, "Jenkins, he's the mole." Alex, determined, his jaw set, reassures him, "I know, we'll take him down, together." Alex pulls into this secluded, dimly lit garage, a safe house, an anonymous haven away from prying eyes. He carefully carries Jack inside. Quickly prepares a syringe, injects Jack with something, explaining, "Antidote. For what Jenkins gave you. It'll counteract it."
Okay, this is the critical turning point in Jack's long and arduous recovery, a moment of profound hope. The safe house symbolizes a temporary sanctuary, right? A place of healing and preparation before the final, decisive battle. The antidote is a tangible tool for physical recovery, countering the poison Jenkins used. But it's the next step that is truly profound because it targets not just Jack's body, but his mind. Alex then hands Jack this thick file, pages dog-eared and worn, a weighty tome of hidden truth. "Read this," Alex urges. "It's your past, all of it. Everything we've learned, everything your father found, everything that was hidden from you."
And here's where it gets really interesting. Jack takes the file, his hands trembling slightly. As he begins to read, his eyes widen. Slowly at first, and rapidly, absorbing every word, every detail, every damning piece of evidence. The truth hits him not like a blow this time, but like a flood, a torrent of understanding. His memories, previously scattered fragments, rush back, vivid and clear, connecting his father's disappearance, Langley's insidious empire, Ryan's murder, Alex's loyalty, Jenkins's chilling betrayal, and the two terrifying instances of his own amnesia. The scattered pieces finally form a complete, coherent, and utterly devastating picture. This isn't just about remembering facts. It's about reclaiming his identity, his purpose, the moral compass that was stolen from him. With his memory fully restored, Jack looks at Alex, a steely, unshakable determination in his eyes. The fog finally lifted. "My father, Langley, Jenkins, it's all connected," he states, his voice calm, resolute. "Let's finish this." The void of amnesia is finally filled, and Jack, fully himself once more, is ready for the final confrontation.
The final confrontation and the truth revealed, episodes 14 to 16.
Okay, so with his memory fully restored and this burning righteous desire for justice, Jack, now completely aware of the vast, intricate conspiracy plans with Alex in episode 14, the plan. They know they need definitive, irrefutable proof to take down both Langley, who's already incarcerated, and the immediate, dangerous threat of Jenkins, who's still operating within the system. Jack suddenly remembers his father's old evidence, something Langley had chillingly hinted at in their first meeting. He tells Alex, "My father's old evidence, it's still out there. He wouldn't have just let it disappear." Alex's eyes widen, recognizing the critical importance of this. Jack reveals only one person would know where it is. His mother, Sarah. The one person his father would implicitly trust outside the corrupt system.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how the father's foresight, his methodical planning, continues to guide Jack even from beyond the grave. This hidden evidence, which we assume was meticulously gathered by Jack's father, it's the linchpin needed to dismantle Langley's empire and expose Jenkins. Entrusting it to his mother underscores the deep trust and also the pervasive nature of the threat, right? It had to be somewhere seemingly mundane but absolutely safe, away from the prying eyes of the corrupt system. It emphasizes the enduring importance of legacy and the long, powerful shadow cast by truth, even when it's buried deep beneath layers of deceit and time.
They visit his mother, Sarah, at his childhood home, a place of faint, painful familiarity for Jack. She's surprised to see them, but clearly worried, her eyes darting nervously. Jack explains they desperately need Dad's evidence. Sarah, her voice hushed, nervously tells them it's hidden in the attic, but adds this chilling warning. They've been watching me. They'll know. Which highlights the continued far-reaching nature of the conspiracy, extending its tendrils even to Jack's family, proving no one is truly safe. In the dusty, forgotten attic, Jack searches through old trunks, finally finding a small, unassuming wooden box tucked away. He whispers, "Alex, I think I found it." Just as he pries it open, revealing a small, unassuming USB drive, the jackpot, the definitive proof. They hear heavy footsteps downstairs. Alex immediately draws his gun. The threat is still very present, the conspirators closing in. Okay, the stage is now perfectly set for the climax in episode 15, the evidence. Back at the safe house, Jack, his hands steady with purpose, plugs the USB drive into Alex's computer. The screen immediately fills with folders and files detailing Langley's vast illicit empire. Meticulously documented wire transfers, irrefutable bribery records, and crucially, damning evidence of Jenkins' corruption. His specific role in the cover-up, in Ryan's murder, it's all there, laid bare, a digital blueprint of their corruption. Jack, a grim determination set on his face, declares, "It's all here. Dad's entire investigation into Langley's empire. This is everything we need. We need to get this to internal affairs now."
Right. This is the dramatic, cathartic climax of the investigative plot. All the seemingly disparate pieces of the puzzle, Ryan's murder, Jack's amnesia, Langley's manipulation, Jenkins's betrayal, his father's prior courageous investigation, they finally converge. The USB drive isn't just evidence, it's the culmination of years of hidden truth and Jack's agonizing, memory-shattering journey. It represents not just legal proof, but a moral triumph. And the next crucial step, taking it to internal affairs, represents the official triumph of truth over corruption, signaling a shift from personal vendetta to systemic justice.
Armed with this undeniable proof, they head to the police station to meet with IA agent Smith. But as they enter the precinct, a place that should be a sanctuary of justice, Jenkins appears, a venomous smirk on his face. "Well, well, look who's back from the dead," he sneers, his confidence chilling. Jack, now fully empowered by his restored memory and the irrefutable evidence, firmly tells him, his voice devoid of fear, "We have evidence. You're going down, Jenkins." Jenkins, undeterred, his composure finally cracking, pulls his gun, leading to a brief but intense shootout within the hallowed halls of the station. Jack and Alex, acting as this unified force, manage to subdue him, disarming him, dragging him to Agent Smith, who, unbeknownst to Jenkins, has actually been investigating him for months. Jenkins, still defiant, sneers, "You'll never prove anything," but Jack, with a triumphant smirk of his own, the taste of victory sweet, says, "Actually, we already have." He hands Smith the USB drive. Smith, a seasoned investigator, reviews the files, her expression hardening as she confirms the overwhelming evidence. With a decisive cold command, she orders, "Take him away." Jenkins is dragged out in handcuffs, his empire crumbling. And Jack and Alex share this silent, knowing nod of hard-won victory. The evidence, the mole, the whole corrupt empire all finally exposed. It's the ultimate payoff for all the amnesia, the betrayals, the constant danger. It just goes to show you can't keep the truth hidden forever. The season finale, episode 16, The Truth Revealed, brings this powerful sense of closure to the main narrative while opening new doors for Jack. At a press conference, Jack and Alex sit beside Agent Smith as Langley's arrest and life sentence are formally announced. A triumph for justice. A reporter asks Jack how it feels to have solved your own murder case, a poignant reminder of how his journey began. Jack smiles, a genuine, unburdened smile, a mixture of profound relief and quiet pride, stating, "It's a tremendous relief. And finally, justice for my father."
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, Jack's journey isn't just about solving a complex case, is it? It's about a profound psychological and emotional restoration, a reclamation of self that transcends mere facts. His amnesia had created this void, this blank slate, and he filled it with the relentless pursuit of justice, driven by this deep inherent sense of what was right. But the true healing, the complete restoration of self, comes with the return of deeply personal memories, especially those connected to family, the emotional anchors of his past. This raises an important question, doesn't it? What part of ourselves do we truly reclaim when our deepest, most intimate memories return? Beyond just the facts and figures of a conspiracy, it's the human connection, the emotional resonance that truly defines us.
After the press conference, Jack steps outside into the bustling city, sees his mother, Sarah, waiting. Her face etched with a lifetime of worry, now replaced by immense pride. She tearfully embraces him, saying, Jack, I'm so proud of you, my son." Jack hugs her back tightly, acknowledging Alex's crucial role in his extraordinary journey. Sarah, with a knowing, tender smile, says, "I know. I see Jason in his eyes again." It's a beautiful, validating moment, signifying her recognition of the son she lost and now has back, whole again. Then something incredible happens. Jack looks at his mother and Alex, and this excited, profound realization dawns on him. My memories, they're coming back, he exclaims, a joyous light in his eyes. He tearfully remembers his father's gentle smile, his booming laugh, vibrant and alive once more in his mind. And then, a stunning, joyous revelation, a piece of his heart he thought forever lost. And my sister, Emily. Sarah's overjoyed, confirming Emily has been waiting for him to remember, longing for her brother's return. Jack, now truly whole, his identity completely restored, declares with determined joy of future opening before him, I need to see her now. This incredible journey concludes not just with justice served, but with the full emotional restoration of his self, and the promise of a future reconnected with his past, his family, and his true identity. What an incredible deep dive into the labyrinthine world of Jack Harris. Or, should we now definitively say, Jason Lee. We've seen how the deliberate manipulation of memory can throw a person into utter chaos, how a hidden fabricated past can dictate your present, and how a vast conspiracy can extend its insidious tendrils into every aspect of life, even meticulously engineering an entire identity. Jack's journey reminds us of the profound fragility of memory, the immense impact of our past, both real and constructed, and the unwavering human drive to find truth and reclaim who we truly are, piece by agonizing, exhilarating piece.
Yeah, and this journey raises an important question for all of us, I think. If your entire adult life and identity were a carefully constructed fabrication, how would you begin to discern the truth? And once you found it, what would you choose to become? Is our identity defined by our memories alone or by the fundamental choices we make after the truth is revealed? Choices that shape who we are regardless of what was stolen. The resilience Jack displayed, even in the face of repeated loss and profound betrayal, speaks volumes about the human spirit's capacity to endure, to fight for its own narrative, and ultimately to choose its own path. It compels us to consider what foundational elements of our own lives we might take for granted, and how we might respond if they were suddenly, brutally stripped away.